Applying for a Schengen visa from India requires exact precision. If you miss a single document or bring a black and white printout when the checklist demands color, your application will be rejected at the desk, and you will lose your visa fee entirely. We are going to prevent that from happening. Step by step, we are going to build a complete, perfectly organized visa dossier together so that you are fully prepared for your in-person appointment. This diagram shows the core rule we will follow for the entire tutorial. Every document we discussed must be strictly categorized and placed into one of these two physical folders, an original or a color copy. Physically separating your paperwork into these specific formats matches the exact intake system used by the consulate. Doing this guarantees your application can be accepted and processed without immediate delays. Step 1 is gathering your foundational identity documents. Let's start filling the folders. Look at this sample application form. You must print the original version of your own completed online application. It will have a unique code at the top. You must bring this specific original document. Using someone else's blank form lacks this code and will halt your processing. Next is your original passport. This graphic outlines the rule of 3 that your travel document must pass to be valid. First, your passport must be less than 10 years old. Second, it needs to have at least 2 completely blank pages ready for the visa. Third, your passport must remain valid for at least 3 full months after your departure. Now move over to your color copies folder. You need copies of your passport's biodata page, the last page for Indian nationals, and previous Schengen visa stamps. You will also add your original photograph here. It needs a white or light background, must be 3.5 by 4.5 centimeters, and taken within the last 6 months. Without these core identity pillars correctly formatted and coded, the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs cannot proceed to evaluate the rest of your trip. Next, we move to your legal and economic ties. You have to prove that you legally reside in India and have strong financial incentives to return home after your vacation. For legal residence, you need both the original and a color copy of your proof. This can be your Indian passport, a residence permit valid for 3 months past your return, an Indian visa, or a work permit. Now for your economic ties. All of the documents in this section go directly into your color copies folder, and what you provide depends entirely on your current employment status. If you are employed, you need 3 color copies: your employment contract, a letter approving your leave, and 3 months of payslips. If you are self-employed or a business owner, the required copies change. You need your company's registration certificate, including your GST number if registered in India, along with your business bank statements, and your income tax return featuring a verified barcode. If you are retired, you will provide copies of your pension statements from the last 3 months, or documents proving property ownership. Students will need a formal statement of enrollment from their educational institution. The consulate scrutinizes these specific financial records to confirm you have an established life in India, allowing them to confidently rule out the risk of a visa overstay. With your identity and ties established, we transition to the logistics of the trip itself. Everything we discuss in this section will go straight into your color copy stack. Start with a cover letter. This document must clearly state the reason for your visit, the exact duration of your stay, the names of fellow travelers, and details of transportation and accommodation. Speaking of accommodation, you need reservations showing where you will sleep for every single night of your trip. If crossing borders into other Schengen countries, you must provide a consecutive paper trail of hotel or rental bookings for each country. You also must prove you can afford the trip. Add color copies of your personal bank statements from the past 3 months, stamped and signed by your bank, or provide copies of your Indian income tax returns from the last 2 tax years. For your travel flights, you need a reservation in your name detailing your route into and out of the Schengen area. Do not purchase a fully paid, non-refundable travel ticket for this application. A reservation is all that is required. Look at this sample medical insurance policy. Your document must explicitly state 2 things. It provides coverage across all Schengen area countries for your entire stay, and it covers a minimum of 30,000 euros for medical expenses, including hospital stays, emergencies, and repatriation. These logistical documents collectively prove to the Netherlands that your trip is mapped out and that you have the resources to ensure you do not become a financial or medical burden to the state. If your application includes a child under 18 years old, there is an additional layer of strict legal paperwork you must complete. The foundational document for any minor is a recent extract of their birth certificate. You must bring the original and place a copy in the Color Copies folder. Parental consent gets highly specific. This flowchart breaks down exactly what you need based on who the child is traveling with. If the child is traveling with only one parent, you need a written consent statement from the parent staying behind, notarized by a public notary. You must also include a color copy of that absent parent's valid travel document, showing their photo and signature. If the minor is traveling entirely alone, you must provide a notarized written consent statement signed by both parents or guardians, alongside color copies of both their IDs. If the standard consent rules do not apply, you must provide official proof. This means providing color copies of court rulings for sole custody, official proof of guardianship, or a death certificate. These rigorous consent requirements exist to comply with international child protection laws. The exact notarizations and clear ID copies are non-negotiable. If you followed these steps, your desk no longer has a chaotic pile of paperwork. You now have a perfectly organized dossier, physically separated into your mandatory originals and your precise color copies. With the dossier built, remember that in almost all cases, you must submit this application in person at your scheduled appointment. This applies to everyone, including babies and children. At that appointment, the final step is signing a formal declaration. You will sign to confirm you understand that all documents must be present for processing to begin, and that submitting an incomplete application will result in rejection and a lost visa fee. Because you followed the exact physical sorting system the consulate requires, you can sign that declaration knowing your paperwork is flawless. Your complete dossier is now ready, and you are officially one step closer to your trip to the Netherlands.